the biggest problem with Ironheart isn't that she's black, and it's not also because she's female. The real issue with Ironheart is that she feels completely unreal. There's no clear reason why she's even a superhero in the first place. She just is. Let me explain what I mean so it makes sense. Tony Stark was a young, rich tech genius, and Tony was basically a womanizer, and that's just normal. That's what happens when people are young and they are smart and they have a lot of money. They have the tendency to like womanize, and that was Tony's life. But then he didn't just change and become a superhero all of a sudden. Something critical had to happen to him. Before Tony became a hero, he had to go through an extreme experience, and that actually makes sense because before we stop things that we love generally in life, we have to go through an extreme experience. Like, if you are going to break up from that toxic relationship, something terrible has to happen to you first. Like, everyone has always known that you are, everyone has been telling you every time you are in a toxic relationship, but you won't ever find the will to leave that toxic relationship until something terrible, like something really extreme, happens to you. And that actually tallies with what happens with Tony. He had an extreme experience, and during the time where he was kidnapped, he actually found out that his weapons were actually being used to do terrible things. And that was the beginning of his character arc as a hero. During his time in captivity, he actually developed a very good relationship with his cellmates, and that made him to reflect on the value of human relationships. That's why when he came out of the cave and he had more empathy, it made sense because the experiences he went through during his time in captivity is actually an experience that will lead someone to have more empathy because that's just what will happen on a normal day. That's why his character transformation made sense. And the final thing that made him to become Iron Man was the fact that he realized that he couldn't trust his uncle. Like, his uncle is actually his blood, and if his uncle is going behind his back to commit atrocities using his tech, who else can he trust?
Recent violence has been attributed to a group of foreign fighters referred to by locals as the 10 Rings. As you can see, these men are heavily armed and on a mission that could prove fatal to anyone who stands in their way.
That's why he was left with no other option than to put on the suits because he had to do it himself. There was no one else he could trust. That's why he became Iron Man. He did not become Iron Man because it was the nice thing to do. He became Iron Man because he had no choice, and that actually makes sense because nobody actually chooses to risk his life because it's nice. Usually when people make those kind of critical decisions, they do it because they have no other choice. You can check out all the other special superheroes. Doctor Strange actually became Doctor Strange not because he thought being a superhero was cool or the right thing to do. He did it because he was trying to fix his hands. For the story to make sense, it has to be a journey that is relatable, like a journey that makes sense in the human context. Like, I understand that we are not superheroes, but if we were superheroes, that is how we would probably do it. Those are the stories that we find interesting. Honestly, I tried to find something that I genuinely loved about the new Ironheart trailer, but I couldn't find anything. There was no spark. There was no moment in the trailer where I went like, this is gonna be a good movie. Like, there was no moments like that. It was just the same old. Like, it was just, even the Ironheart suit is not it at all. Like, compared to Iron Man's suit, Ironheart suit just looks like garbage. And I think the way Ironheart was introduced did not actually do the character any favors because, like, there was nothing about her that was really interesting, and there was no reason why she's even a hero. Like, there was no reason why she was smart. There was no reason about anything. She just showed up and she's all badass and kicking ass. And I think this is a challenge that most new age female-led superheroes face, is that most of the time, 9 out of 10 times, the superheroes are being written like they are male characters. Recently, female superheroes have just been written like male superheroes, and there's no distinct characteristics that make their character arc feminine. So what I'm trying to say is that in female superheroes, they don't really talk about female issues. Like, you never hear a superhero talking about her period, her cramps, or mood swings. The only thing that is distinct about female superheroes is just that they are just more efficient than male superheroes. for reasons that are not known to anybody. Male superheroes in general have attributes that they share with actual human beings that are male, but female superheroes don't really have that. Female superheroes are like a hybrid of some sort. Like, female superheroes are written in such a way that it's so abstract that it's hardly relatable. I know people think that the backlash is because people don't want a black woman as a superhero, but that's that's the farthest thing from the truth. If you take a look at the comment section under the trailer, what you notice is that the comments bashing the movie are not talking about the fact that she's black or a woman. They're talking about the fact that this is not looking interesting. It's not looking catchy. There's nothing about this that looks like it's compelling enough to make you pay for a seat in a cinema. And the fact that we already saw Ironheart in Black Panther 2, and she was arguably one of the worst things in that movie, and that movie was already like really bad. This isn't about looks, but it's about charisma and screen presence. She just doesn't feel compelling. That's part of the same problem we had with the flying Captain America. Part of the issues with that movie was the fact that he had very little screen presence. So what I'm trying to point you to is the fact that spending time with him on screen, like the Falcon guy, spending time with him on screen wasn't interesting. If you take a look at previous Marvel movies, when you're spending time with Thor, with Loki, with Tony Stark, with Hulk, with Black Widow, you would always enjoy that time. Like, you would always enjoy that screen time. So when you get to spend time with Tony Stark, you actually enjoy that because his character is actually appealing. There's something really cool and very appealing about the way he carries himself, about the way he says things. Like, there was a lot of aspects to Tony Stark that made him just admirable. Like, you just want to look at him and just feel good because of the way he conducts himself. But that wasn't present with the new Captain America, and it wasn't present in Ironheart, at least when we first saw her in Black Panther. So yeah, the trailer did not work, not because she's black or because she's a woman. It did not work because it seems like Marvel has forgotten how to tell a good story. Like, that's just the way it feels right now. Almost all the movies post Endgame have been all cheesy, and Ironheart actually feels like that movie that is going to prove to us that the female Iron Man is actually stronger, smarter, more efficient, and absolutely better at everything than the male Iron Man. I'll also like to hear what you guys think in the comment section. Let me know what you think about this new Ironheart trailer and the character itself, because I'm an Iron Man fan. So basically, let's just say I have like there's a chance that I have an unconscious bias because I really love Iron Man. So if the way I'm speaking shows that I have an unconscious bias, do well to point it out in the comment section, and let me know what else you think about Marvel in general. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and see you guys in the next video. Peace.